In today's video, I'm gonna cover 5 woodworking projects. Not only can you sell, but you can also scale a business around. Last week we made a video over 5 woodworking projects that don't sell and you should not waste your time on. And I made that video because there are so many different YouTube videos telling you about the projects you should sell. And I always felt like those projects are not really scalable and there's nothing that you can build a business around. So that inspired me to make this video today, which is the 5 woodworking projects that actually sell and that I believe you can actually build a business around. And I personally would do any of these businesses if I had more hours in the week, but I do not. And so hopefully by giving this value to you, you can start a business and start your woodworking journey as well. The first project we're gonna talk about is giant letters. You've all seen the giant letters that people stand behind and take pictures of at weddings or big events and stuff like that. And I'm actually proposing that you make that exact same letter. Now this is one I've done in the past. This is too short. This is only a 3-foot one. I'm saying go about 4 to 5 foot tall with these letters. You can usually make them with minimal tools. I did this one with my CNCs. How this works and how it's scalable and why I'm very excited about a giant letter like this. What you do is you make, let's say a Mr. and Mrs. and the and symbol, right? Or is it aspartame or asper, whatever it's called. You make all these letters, put them in a 10x10 storage unit, go out to all the wedding decorators around your area and let them know that you're renting these for $50 to $100 a piece, depending on your area, depending on the size of your letter. That decorator now has your contact and they know that you are renting Mr. and Mrs. or you have all the letters of the alphabet. So instead of making $300 off of selling just one big letter, you're renting it out every year, multiple times a year, and over a 2 or 3 year span, a $300 letter turns into a $2,000 letter because you're renting it. By doing that and having multiple different storage units at multiple different locations, you start to build a business. And then as that business grows, you start introducing new items such as table toppers and candle holders and flower holders that you also make out of wood and start renting that out. And then pretty soon you are a wood supplier for all these wedding decorators and venues because you built up a relationship with them over time by building these giant letters. And the cool thing about these two, they do not ship well. So it's not like some other foreign country can make a whole bunch of these. You're not in Texas getting it from New York. It costs too much to ship. By making these and targeting them in the localized areas, you kind of will own that bubble. So it's a really cool concept and idea. I think if executed properly, it can be a really big business. As I move on to this next project, I think it's really important, and this is something that I've learned throughout the years, that it's a lot better and you achieve success a lot quicker when you pick a target and then design products around that target versus doing what's natural, designing a really cool product and making it and then trying to find people that buy it. So for that reason, this next one isn't just one particular product. It's a group of 3 products that I would target to a specific type of customer that I think is very scalable and you could actually build a business around. And that is microbreweries. So selling stuff to microbreweries could be huge. Why? Well, the market's big enough for it. Here in Texas, there's over 700 different microbreweries. If you look on Google Maps right now and put a 30-mile radius of where you live, there's probably 1 or 2 microbreweries there as well. What products would I make for microbreweries and how would I target them? I would do a flight tray, I would do a menu board or like a check presenter, and I would do some tabletop games. Menu boards such as this one right here, which is this your standard clipboard, right? And you'd put their logo on the back, or maybe they want a long one, or they want a check presenter a lot of times, and you actually cut this in half and they put the receipt and that's where you take the credit card and stuff like that. So that's one of the products I would do for it. The next is these flights. All these breweries, you go there, you pick out 5 beers, you get a flight, you put their logo on it. I did one for a distillery, for a big Japanese whiskey company right here. I burned the top, put their logo on it. It looks super cool. And the last thing would be tabletop games, like the ring and hook game, a little personalized tic-tac-toe, the one where you move the golf tees, just any little personalized tabletop games that you can make specifically for that brewery. I would make those 3 products and have no more than 5 variations for each. 3 options on flight trays, 3 options on menu boards. You have your check presenter, your long one, and your full-size menu board. And then you have those games. You can pick 3 or 4 games. Have it where the brewery can customize it to their needs, but not like fully customize that product, right? So then you target these breweries, you go to the brewery and say, hey, I'm a one-stop shop for all things wood. If you need me, you need tap handles, come to me. You need menu boards, come to me. I'm the guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
I can do it. You send me your logo. You don't have to worry about anything else, bro. I got you. So that's something I would tell my 22-year-old self to do, because not only is it profitable and very easy to target your customer, which is probably the most important, you also get to drink beer and visit people and meet with them, and they probably give you free beer tokens, and that's pretty cool too. So let's move on to the next thing. My next project idea is in one of my favorite categories to target, kids gifts and it's a Pikler triangle. This thing is super easy to make, even easier if you have a CNC. So it's this little triangle like this that kids climb on. You put some dowel rods in it, you cut some boards, and it folds up and it actually ships really well. That would kind of be the flagship product that I would do to get into kids gifts, and in particular, this weird word called Montessori gifts. I don't really know what Montessori means, but if you look up the word, it's a lot of natural kid products that don't have any stains and stuff like that, because kids a lot of times chew on their products, and so you can't have toxic paint and you can't have stain on there because they could technically get sick. And so Montessori gifts are really good to get into because you use natural wood and you just use like a mineral oil or a beeswax finish. And as a small woodworker, what's super beneficial about that is that your finishing process isn't very expensive. I've been around the wood world. Finishing is very, very expensive. If you talk to any professional woodworker, that is probably one of the most time-consuming things is finishing. And Montessori gifts, you just dip it in a natural finish, use a wood like walnut or maple or cherry, or just pick all 3 woods so you have 3 different color variants. And another little perk about that, when foreign countries have to make stuff out of wood, a lot of times they have to put a finish, some type of finish on it before they can ship it over. That kind of negates the foreign companies from, kind of taking over your business. And they're super customizable because you can put little kids' names on a lot of stuff. One little tidbit that I would say is that make sure you have insurance because you are dealing with kids gifts. Have some liability insurance because you get sued one time, your business is over. It's not that expensive and it protects you from a lot of stuff. Once again, kids gifts, Montessori gifts, get good insurance. Now on to the next project. Speaking of projects that sell, this is a cup we're working on with Frio, which has a removable, rechargeable speaker on it. Super cool. So if you want one of these or you want to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, check out friocoolers.com. That would help a ton. The next projects revolve around targeting service-based jobs, such as cops, firefighters, and paramedics. Why them? It goes back to that initial point of it's a lot easier to make products when you know who the customer already is than make a cool product and then try to find that customer, right? So what I would do if I was getting into this business is I would start off by making custom signage for cops. These signs typically have their badge number on it. So whether you have a CNC, whatever tools you have, you can make some type of custom signage, the thin blue line flag, those kind of things sell, and you get into it by making just one for one of the officers on whatever police department is nearest to you, and then you know how to target the next one, right? So what I think will end up happening is you'll end up making all of the different signs, and you'll get in with the wives of those guys. Then they have a kid and you can do police officer and training, little things for them, and then they'll probably want concealment furniture, right? Because most police officers have guns. You can make concealment furniture, the ones that go on the wall or the coffee tables that have the different guns in them. Thing that I've been asked a lot to do, but I do not do right now is a stand that holds the vest at the end of the day. So the cop comes home and he takes off his vest and needs to hang it, put his pistol and his taser somewhere in his bag, all in a nice, neat location. So by doing the sign and the vest holder and maybe throwing in concealment furniture in there, depending on your skill, that would be a good start, and you know who to target, right? You're targeting cops, or you're doing the same thing with firefighters, but it's so easy because you know the person you're targeting. Hop on any kind of bandwagons you need to hop on. You got the thin blue line flag. They love it. Make your 3 or 4 products, have your 3 or 4 different variations. That could be a huge business opportunity. So now let's go to the last project that I would recommend. As I go into this last project, I did leave out stuff like cabinetry, millwork, flooring, stuff like that, because that is more of a commercial woodworking thing. And it's a totally different beast than most people when they have, a miter saw and a planer and some basic tools. So I did not talk about commercial woodworking for that reason. I wanted to help y'all that are starting out and trying to make this a full-time job, or those that have a full-time job already and want to scale your business. This next project that sells, it's so weird. It hurts my head that it actually still sells, but it sells really good. And it's actually the very next product my company is coming out with. And I think you can capitalize on it too. And that product is stovetop covers. And what I mean by stovetop covers is those ones that cover this type of a stove. They're also called noodle boards, I think. They are huge and they have a huge market. What I would do if I was designing them, I would try to figure out how to make them collapsible or come in a 2-piece set. That way you can ship them easier, or figure out a really, really quick way to customize them. So how to scale this into a full-time business. One, you're gonna have to sell them online, and you're gonna have to make sure that your shipping costs are quite low, because shipping something this big may cost $30, $40, right? And so maybe by designing something that's collapsible, you fit it in a smaller box, and so your $40 shipping turns into $20 shipping, or you make them very customizable where that client can put really anything on it. And I seriously think you do not have to make anything else, because there's no real substitute for this. So you can make a couple complementary products like a paddle board or maybe a charcuterie board or something like that. But really, this is a standalone product that can do 6 figures a year, no problem. And so I wouldn't try to do 10 different other things. I'm still put back by it because everything else I talked about has either multiple products in it or has a big idea. This is a standalone product that can really work for you. So from my company to you, good luck designing one. I hope to see yours right next to mine, and I hope we compete against each other. It's gonna be pretty cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you left this video with more knowledge than when you started. If you have not already, check out the video right here where we talk about 5 projects that I would not waste my time on. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and remember, if you ain't cutting it close, you ain't cutting it right. Last week,